Well, Chad, I have to ask you to hold because somehow I have, despite doing this 5 million times, found the wrong video. YouTube, why are you doing this to me? Why have you put playlists at the top of the search feature over the video you know I watch like once a week, and yet you have killed my ability to auto-add to playlists? What are you doing? Why have you done this? Anyway, give me a second, everybody, to fiddle with this. Hopefully the audio level is good. Alrighty, we're gonna switch over to the thing. We're here. Oh my god. Okay, I was gonna joke about Loth being held up by hot chocolate, but he's chat Discord has 15 updates to do? Jeez. Okay.
Yeah,
you can get ahead of those by clicking that big green button, you know, buddy. Okay. Alright. But today, we are making good on last month's Fail Portrayal poll. We deferred it to a week because there was a just in case of a hurricane, but it didn't really matter. But there's no way to know that until it happens. Not that anybody, I think, got on my case for moving stuff around, because it was a very possible, really big deal, right up until the point it wasn't.
That usually goes.
Yep, that's how meteorology is, unfortunately. Okay, so we're doing Blackluster Soldier. It's funny that Lot's not in here yet, because I'm pretty sure this was this his suggestion?
I think it
yeah,
was.
Yeah, because you're still on Spiral, right?
Yes, I think it was my suggestion after I basically incited him to be like, fuck it, just do another DM staple, you'll win.
Yeah. I think Loth was aiming for... Is it a twofer or a three-peat at this point? The people at home probably remember better. Yeah, I think it's a twofer because he had Gaia last time. Nope, that's not it. I want to go to Yu-Gi-Oh! Top Decks. So we're talking about a classic Duel Monsters nostalgia deck.
Eventually we'll run out of those and I'll have to pick something that's more interesting. I have kid with that.
Okay, it is the three-peat. Okay. Because he did get Malefic. I mean, I want to say on the one hand, Axe, my first instinct is to go, oh, I don't think taunting chat will make them pick Spiral. But people sometimes super chat me money to yell at Dallas louder, so I don't understand sometimes, okay? People? So
yeah, eventually, if we're like crowded enough, people start to post super chats just so you actually read them.
Yes.
That's
we're probably a ways away from that being that crowded. Though sometimes it happens like that when we do FGO streams. Those can get like 100 viewers deep. All right. And chat, be sure to let me know if the music level is okay and stuff. Oh, actually, I should go into Discord and say we're live. That's right. Yell it for everybody in the Discord. In case you missed the tweets and the YouTube alert and all the other stuff.
That sounded alright.
Alright, nice. Okay. So, a little bit of preface on the background of this. This is another Yu-Gi-Moto special. This is the first ritual monster that was ever in the anime, and I assume the manga. He did it during the Duelist Kingdom, final brackets to defeat Mai and Harpy's pet dragon. Because this guy is big. Kind of set our preface for ritual monsters, which were exactly like fusion monsters, in that you needed a spell card and some guys, but the guys weren't really specific, and in fact, a lot of Yugi's early ritual monsters are just pitch one of his level 7s and a Karibo to modulate the extra level. I think that's how Magician of Black Chaos worked as well. But they're not really impressive. They don't have any special effects. Actually, fun fact, chat, when we talk about the original Blackluster Soldier card, there is a promotional version of Blackluster Soldier, Chaos Soldier in the original translation, which on the one hand I feel like kind of bit them in the butt a little, because arguably some Chaos cards should interact with Blackluster Soldier cards that maybe don't, or have to be printed to say Chaos or Blackluster Soldier monsters, etc. On the other hand, it has avoided some very, very stupid translations of names we will talk about later. where there are cards that are called like Chaos Soldier, the Chaos Soldier, basically. We almost hit Curse of Dragon, the Cursed Dragon levels here in the OCG anyway. But what I was going to say is there's actually a promotional version of the original vanilla Blackluster Soldier that is literally a vanilla. It's just a level 8 normal monster with flavor text.
Honestly? Yellow?
I think we should make it a surprised sound.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just... I think they... Early on, wasn't Rituals kind of designed around being that since you didn't have to summon them, you could get them out easier, I guess? Into like...
No, I mean, no, you have to summon them. They must be summoned properly.
Right, you can summon from hand. I meant...
No.
Yeah.
The main thing I think was they were basically like exactly like fusion monsters. It's just their materials were generic, and semi-generic ritual spells were available pretty fast. There were issues where several ritual cards were printed with the phrase "must be summoned" with a specific ritual spell. Some of which have never been reprinted with PCST, so they are still stuck in hell. They will probably never be good without like legacy support or weird reprints to make them better. Blackluster Soldier doesn't have that problem. Again, as a popular Yu-Gi-Oh! Card, it just says you may ritual summon this with Blackluster Ritual.
Just reminds me of the thing of a lot of the game was, I guess, structured around how Blue Eyes is not supposed to be a common card to have.
I mean, I don't think that the...
If you could look at you could distribute them on Blue Eyes and probably be more effective.
I mean, it's yes and no, because Blue Eyes does require to do that tribute summon, you need 2 guys on board, and have always needed 2 guys on board. Blackluster Soldier has the exact same stat line. You can use 2 guys from hand. The problem is you need the spell to trigger it.
Well, that's what I just said. You said that was wrong.
No. Sorry. To go back, as the people at home will say, you've phrased that they did not have to be summoned. That is incorrect. You did not say normal summoned.
You didn't just summon the materials.
Okay, that part you didn't add the material part. You just said they didn't have to be summoned. Sorry, there was some ambiguous grammar there. They are like fusion monsters in that it requires a spell to trigger, but on the one hand, they didn't have a specific fusion deck. That's what the extra deck used to be called, in case you're a newer player. So you couldn't have them just in reserve forever, but you didn't need specific materials. Not that Poly needs specific monsters on the field either, because Poly has also always been field or hand. I know some people are also confused by that, by like the anime and stuff. So it's like a weird side grade. Very rapidly, support for generic ritual spells did come out, as did cards that search them. Like I think Prep of the Rights. Prep was like 2 or 3 years into the game. The main...
That was a 2007 card.
Is that 07?
Let me go check.
That'd be about 4 or 5 years, depending on how you want to count it. In the TCG. Yeah. It's still arguably in like, if Yu-Gi-Oh's been around for, quote unquote 25 years, that though is the OCG's counting, which includes the many shitty vanilla years.
Let's see. On the OCG site, let's see. First thing it came out in actually was 2009. Stardust Overdrive.
Started over. That sounds very late.
I'll check other things. Let's see here. Yeah, 2009.
No, yeah. I checked the official database. That's super rare in Stardust Overdrive. Wow. Okay. So that's still the first half of the game, but is later than I thought. There are other ritual supporters like the Thousand Hands.
It's like the beginning of the Synchro era.
Yeah, the Thousand Hands were much earlier than that. I think so was the Bird Who Searches.
Those were like 2005.
Yeah, so there was some early ritual support. The main problem was that because they were just vanillas, but they weren't normals, so they never... Like, honestly, straight up today, Blackluster Soldier, they should release that promo print of him as a normal monster just to the general public as a playable card, because that would be infinitely better for it to be a literal normal monster, because there's support for that. Yeah.
Special summon the normal monster variant as well.
Yes.
Just bucket.
Also, there's cards like Champion's Vigilance. You'd have an Omni Negate for it. There's cards like Piercing the Darkness, which are support for cards that are made by normal monsters. Shit like that.
It's a weird thing of how I think was it like Turtle Crab and like Shinato the Ark, of like those are just not good.
I mean, Shinato Shinado had an effect. It was an okay card. It was just really clunky and slow because it was high level. The main problem that Ritual monsters had, like Crab Turtle, has always sucked. Yes, that's because it's like a 2350 beater in water. Like it's just a water guy. The Ritual Zera the Mant is like 2600 for like a level 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing is that because they don't have good effects, they haven't really been worth it until Demise decks. When you get to Demise decks and shit like ARA and other stuff like that, you actually have like a payoff. So this should shock none of you. This was a little bit of a long preamble, but I was talking about like the history and the function of the archetype, which is to summon Blackluster Soldiers. They've had some retrains, but it's still to ritual summon Blackluster Soldiers. The Blackluster Soldier archetype has never topped ever. It is not searchable in Yu-Gi-Oh! Top decks. That's not to say that some Blackluster Soldier cards haven't been good. We're going to look at a couple of them who are kind of like adjacent to the ritual line who have been hella playable.
I have tried to play a BLS deck to middling results.
Yeah, it's just... They've tried really hard to make the payoff work, and now there is Master of Chaos, which gives you a bridge between the Dark Magician stuff and BLS. Master of Chaos is still infinitely better if you're playing it in the Dark Magician half of that entirely, because you can still use Magician of Chaos to fuse him and search and other bullshit.
Yeah.
Sorry, taking some sips of water. I'm returning, by the way, chat, from another escapade mowing the lawn, so... If I seem, fidgety or dry-throated, it's because I was outside for like 40 minutes fighting grass. But okay, all right, we've preambled enough. Let's actually look at the original boy. We will not explicitly go over again the 2 Gaia cards that fork back into Blackluster Soldier. We will mention them when they come up, but I don't think we need to cover them again. You can just go back and watch the episode we did on Gaia. But if you are curious, the reason why Gaia has a couple of forks into Blackluster Soldier is because the original, whatchamacallit, the original thing they did, no, the lawn definitely lost. That fucker got cut. But the original 2 monsters Yugi used were Gaia and Karibo to make level 8.
Where's my Karibo Blackluster Soldier variant?
Well, funny you say that, Loth. We'll probably do a Karibo episode at some point. There are 2 Karibos that technically act as Blackluster support. One Sphere Karibo can be banished from your graveyard to be used as ritual summon material, and Relink Karibo lets you draw a card, I think, when it's tributed. So there are technically ritual support Karibos that you probably would run in a Blackluster deck, or could. They have other effects too, usually. It's funny, Mr. Dennis Cordell said about the grass being poison, and then I had to, wiggle a sneeze. Bah. Okay, sorry about that. Here he is, the original boy. This is a Kaz art. Funnily enough, I don't think he's ever actually, vanilla Blackluster Soldier has had, a special redraw or anything.
His armor's cool. It's kind of going for, a tapestry kind of thing.
Yeah, and again, this is another almost assuredly Kazuki art. You can kind of see the same lineage as cards like Buster Blader and like Gaia in here, but he has his own distinct look. I think he's got a top horn and side horns. There's a sweeping falcon in his chest plate. That's cool. Got kind of a goat skull on his shield. Very classic Kaz occult looking. He's got a nice sword, very curvy. I could rock this look as a paladin. And also to reiterate for everybody at home, remember the name of this card originally in Japan is Chaos Soldier. That's why the speech Yugi gives, which I have truncated in the name of this episode, is, one soul of darkness, one soul of light. Come forth, Chaos Soldier, or something like that. Also, yes, by the way, I think that's, I can't tell who's who in that equation. Is Karibo the dark soul or the light soul?
I believe it's the dark one.
Is the Earth Soul.
But so's
Isn't
Gaia.
Karibo an Earth monster?
Yeah, Gaia is also
Gaia
an
is.
Earth monster.
Karibo's a dark
I think
monster.
Karibo might actually be dark. Hold on, I need to get my handkerchief. and
Karibo's
hold it. On account of the grass.
Yo, pro.
Kind of sidle out of the chair there. Ooh.
Okay, yeah, it's a dark fiend.
Okay, it is dark. All right. So I guess that means Karibo is the dark soul. He is the furtive pygmy. There you go, Chad. That one's just for you. Despite, again, being called Chaos Soldier, this is probably why Envoy of the Beginning exists, because this first guy's not very chaosy. Blackluster Soldier is an Earth warrior ritual. He's 8 stars, 3k attack, 2500 defense. You can ritual summon this with Blackluster Ritual. And like I said, let me see if I can find the mention of the normal Blackluster Soldier. Yeah. That guy has the exact same stats. He's got the exact same art. His flavor text just reads, "The strongest warrior. It has the same capabilities as Blue Eyes White Dragon." And that's a literal translation because, yeah, it's only been released in the OCG. As a promo, I don't even know if the card's legal. It's literally been printed twice. One as a tournament prize card in the 90s when it was still only in the OCG, and then as part of a campaign in the OCG this year. Literally printed like 3 days ago. That said, this card would actually make Dragon Master Knight infinitely more playable. But yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. So yes, Blackluster Soldier is supposed to have the same power level as Blue Eyes White Dragon. He has, basically the exact same stats. He's a level 8. He can be summoned with Blackluster Ritual. We don't need to show the card art because it's the thumbnail already, but Blackluster Ritual is a ritual spell card that just says, this card is used to ritual summon Blackluster Soldier. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose levels equal 8 or more. Is that the PCST phrasing?
Huh.
Yes, that is. Wow. Okay, that's still a little awkward, but yes. So, Blackluster Ritual, of course, like a lot of specific ritual cards, is non-exact levels. They just have to be 8 or more. And obviously that means you can pitch Blackluster Soldier for Blackluster Soldier, but honestly, it's not really worth it. I don't think it was worth it when the card was printed. There were already, because this would have been, what? Yeah, these were in starter deck Yugi, and were printed in... Oh, is this correct? Was this only printed in starter deck Yugi? Yeah. This card was printed in technically in the Yugi Evolution starter deck, which featured Blackluster Soldier. And then wasn't reprinted until 2009 in Duelist Pack Yugi. Same with the original Blackluster Soldier. Okay, yeah. So, like, if you're buying a fucking anime starter deck, perfectly normal boss monster. Otherwise, nah, not really good. I'm pretty sure there's some speed duel strats to make it work, but yeah. So, speaking of which, then let's skedoodle on to another guy who's also, unfortunately, not good. Oh, no. Sorry, clicked on OBS, not Paint. Doesn't work like that. It's Dragon Master Knight. He's a guy. He's riding a dragon.
A soldier who rivals the power of Blue Eyes White Dragon is riding Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon.
Yeah. So this was a card that I believe was anime only, not original to the manga, though this does look like a manga panel that's riven. If it was used in the manga, it was only used way, way later in, like, the final arc. This is another one of those weird promo side cards that, like, didn't get printed over here in the US until way too fucking late. Yeah, there was a blister pack called Ultimate Edition 2, which included some Ancient Sanctuary cards, a Dragon Master Knight, and a guide to be better at Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, some people are like, man, Yu-Gi-Oh! Products today suck. This 25th anniversary tin is stupid because it doesn't reprint enough meta cards. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has always had some odd product choices.
Meta this, meta that. Why didn't you meta Gel?
So, damn. Okay, that was a good one.
I
Master
stole
of
that from
Dragon
somewhere, I
Knight,
can't remember where.
Dragon Master Knight, much better translation. This is a light fusion dragon, which with 12 stars and 5k attack. Its materials are just Blackluster Soldier plus Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. And here's the reason why you don't see it over regular Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Must be fusion summoned. This card gains 500 attack for each dragon monster you control, except this card. This card got nerfed from the anime for no fucking reason. The anime, it has the half of a Buster Blader effect. It's 500 attack for each dragon you control and in your graveyard. As it is, Dragon Master Knight can't actually defeat Five-Headed Dragon. The real card version, because it would, unless you have other dragons you can summon, it would still be 5k. That's
yeah,
at the
good luck to you getting other dragons out in the field, and also this asshole. Like, what
yeah,
the fuck?
because he requires a ritual monster as fusion material and a 3-mat fusion material monster. So, yeah, I don't think Dragon Master Knight has ever been played in any good deck. You see it in some decks in, like, tournaments as just, like, a fucking funny card to play. Like, you could put it in decks to pitch with, like, Necroz's Kaleidoscope, shit like that. Same with Five-Headed Dragon. You might put it in your deck so you can run Dogmatica Punishment and have up to 5k worth of attack to pitch, though 5 God Dragon is also good for that. And by the way, Five-Headed Dragon has actually seen play. You don't always summon it, but it is a card that was very useful with Future Fusion back in the day. Unfortunately, you can't Future Fuse this guy because it requires an extra deck monster to be fused. Honestly, I'm kind of shocked Konami has not reprinted a better version of this. I would, you know, without its nerfed effect, maybe without the must-be fusion summon requirement, and then say something like, you know, 1 Blackluster Soldier monster plus 1 Blue Eyes fusion monster, because there's a few of those.
Who knows, maybe they'll do a different version where it's a BLS plus Tamias, just to fuck with people.
That would honestly be much better, but here we are.
Sadly, you can use the fusion spell for Tobias.
Yeah, this Master Knight is a weird boy. It's a cool card. It's fucking ballin'. They use it in the anime to, you know, beat up the 5 God Dragon in the Virtual World arc, but sadly not well loved. They've made, like, the Chronicle Magician and stuff. They've made, like, weird Blue Eyes and Dark Magician crossover cards, but have not supported the actual, like, the few times Yugi and Kaiba actually do a team up. It's weird.
I mean, they did release that Chronicle stuff, but I'm not sure if that counts.
Yeah, I mentioned that was ones. They're oddballs. So let's talk about a good card. A card that may linger in your nightmares depending on how long you've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! the Giga Chad himself, Blackluster Soldier Envoy of the beginning.
No, it's more just the card you're sick of seeing if you watch any progression series.
You don't actually watch progression series.
I do.
Do you really?
Yeah, I keep tabs on it.
I didn't need to watch any
Tino played
progression
Floodgates this week. It was gross. It was sad.
Okay. Axe past the Shibboleth. Yeah, I
didn't
can
even
watch
need
that
to
episode.
watch
Fucking
others.
sick.
I could just experience Oz, the one that we had.
Yeah, no. But this guy was a menace several times. Obviously, in Chaos format, he was a huge fucker. Then they unbanned him probably a year too early, and he was in every deck suddenly. Which is exactly what happened in our progression series, where we were like, oh, well, BLS got unbanned right about now. Can we let it back to 1? No. Art-wise, I like this art, though, because it's got kind of the same Chaos Halo effect as they put on Sed. You know, he's supposed to be an equal and opposite to him. I don't like the discovery that his ponytail comes out like the side of his helmet. That's weird.
Looking at his helmet, it looks like there's a tiny evil face on it.
Oh, I mean, there is a
Like
tiny
the
evil
tail.
face. Like, he definitely has glowing eyes on top of his, like, helmet visor that he has up. He still has the weird falcon in his chest, which is a little more angular. You can see there's also a weird, like, bird face on the bottom of his sword, but you can't see his shield now. Also, he is holding that shield in a real limp-wristed way. But still, you know, it's a nice shot. I like the shadows across his face,
Giant shield cod piece.
which also has another skull on it. The boy's covered in skulls. He's Chaos Soldier, okay? He's really a cult. But yeah, this guy is a fucker. So this is a
He's
light.
Actually, it's one of the
warrior.
first really good Chaos monster besides one that's meant for like very specific things.
I mean, no, Soldier, Sed, and BLS all released at the same time, and they were all good. Chaos defines the meta of goats, of goat format. So, like, all three of those guys are important. But they kind of formed the invasion of Chaos holy trinity of fucking your shit up. And honestly, especially post-errata Sed, Envoy of the Beginning is still the best one. So he's a light warrior, level 8. He's got 300, 3K, 25. Curse them for numeral nomenclature. He cannot be normal summoned or set. He must first be special summoned, which means you can special summon him back after. From your hand by banishing a light and a dark. From your graveyard, once per turn, you can activate one of these effects. And then he has fucking bullet points. Oh my god. Every fucking card should be formatted like this. Anyway, I'm not going to go into how Yu-Gi-Oh! Should be reformatted. I think every single Yu-Gist pundit on the internet is like, hey, I don't know about keywords per se, because that can get clunky.
It's something to condense the bloat.
We really need to adopt the OCG's format of numbered bulleted lists of effects, because that's much clearer.
Comprehensible.
Anyway, first of all, its first effect is you can target a monster on the field, banish it. This card can't attack the turn that's activated. And then if this card attacking card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, it can make a second attack. So yeah, like I said, BLS Envoy of the Beginning, just a fucker. He is a Chaos Sork banish tool, while also still being a 3K body. But also he gets to attack twice and has 3K attack if he destroys a monster. This means he can easily close out games instantly. Like, he is a powerful OTK tool, a powerful removal tool, and just a big guy.
Just a big asshole.
And honestly, like, one of the most successful cards when it was printed instantly was useful when it was unbanned in you know, the height of Ixie format. You would play this guy as a tech card in, like, fucking Burning Abyss era. And honestly, while not like a meta-defining card, I think if you're building a Chaos deck, he's still a decent inclusion. Like, I don't think he's as spicy as, like, Chaos Creator or Levianeer, but, like, he's still a pretty solid boy.
Like, despite how old he is, it's like, oh, we can throw in one or two of him in there. It's still good.
Yeah. And obviously, because of the way they kind of, again, because all of the Blackluster Ritual Monster support came out after not only Blackluster Soldier Envoy at the beginning was printed, but also I think after he was unbanned, if you are playing a BLS deck, you will have Darks and Lights in it, so you can play basically a Chaos adjacent deck, which works perfectly well for this guy. So,
sorry to everyone if you hear me sigh occasionally. I'm still feeling a bit under the weather.
yes.
Sorry.
So, let's talk about a card which is the bane of many anybody who watches replays of Master Duel on YouTube. Primal Seed.
I forgot about that card.
This is technically a Blackluster Soldier card.
Yep.
And I mean, BLS is on it, and he's fucking tripping balls. It's a good card art.
Ditto, form Blackluster Soldier.
Yeah, kind of. By the way, to this day,
turns his
Primal
head.
Primal Seed is limited in the OCG to avoid Primal Seed FTK loops.
You don't see his face because of the shadows, but he turns, he's got the Ditto eyes.
It's not great, like, I guess I look at it weird where it's like, it's not a great recycling card, but it's one of the most direct recycling cards in the game, I think.
Yeah, so let's explain what it does really quick, and we can discuss some of the stuff you can do with it. So, if there is a Blackluster Soldier Envoy of the beginning or a Chaos Emperor Dragon Envoy of the end on the field, target 2 of your banished cards, add both those targets to your hand. So it lets you recycle 2 cards which are banished. This means the usual way the Primal Seed loops work. So long as one of those cards is a Primal Seed every time, you can cycle back any card which is banished, which means that you can infinitely recur certain cards. If you've got like a Macrocosmos on, obviously not good for FTKs, but still like hypothetically, if you have a Macrocosmos or Macro-like effect on the field, so that all your spell cards are automatically banished, you can just Primal Seed back 2 cards, one of which is Primal Seed, go again. So
In the very weird case if you're playing Blackluster Soldier or Chaos, and you're fighting someone who brings out a Dark Law, Primal Seed is very good for you.
yeah, I think Primal Seed actually has some adjacent use if you were to play a BLS deck. The main thing is that it allows you to loop cards that are normally like they banish themselves, or you banish them, or you could banish your entire deck in order to just basically use it as a free search with Primal Seed, and then just do whatever dumb FTK you want to. Because you can always add back. Like, if nothing else, if you just, like, banish all your spell cards, and you've got, like, you know, Meteor of Destruction or whatever, you can literally just Primal Seed loop that, like, 8 times. And it doesn't matter. And there's lots of other dumb stuff. You can find the loops on the internet if you want, but it's a very silly card. But it is technically directly related to a Blackluster Soldier. And let me check when these cards came out, because I think, did I account for some of these? Yes, I did do that one, but I didn't check in. Okay. No, we should save. Sorry, Chaos Space is a lot newer than I thought it was. That's probably best saved for an actual episode if we ever did one on Chaos. Okay.
Chaos.
I was just double checking that because, funnily enough, Blackluster decks basically go silent. You know, the Envoy of the beginning is banned, and regular Blackluster Soldier still sucks. For many, many years, like 10 years, these cards, like, slumber. But we do get support. This support came in the year 2015 in Dimension of Chaos, obviously. Producing our first victim, of this. In what are usually called the Chibi Nights, Beginning Night,
Ah, yes, these ones.
which is indeed a Blackluster Soldier, but chibi.
The Squire of Chaos.
No, he's a knight. But he hasn't transcended his soul of light and darkness yet. But yeah, Beginning Night, again, because remember, Envoy of the Beginning, is a light warrior. I don't really have a lot to say about his art, by the way. I like, again, the halo effect in the background, but he's just a chibi Blackluster Soldier. He's very anime. This card was released in 2015. So it's this is our first arguably modern card. This would be post-Duelist Alliance, but still not super great in modern terms. It is a level 4 light warrior. Again, like I said, if you're playing a Blackluster Soldier deck, you will experience some cards which are... Sorry, I'm waiting for a... There we go. Okay, let's tuck that in a little bit more. It was not centered. It was bothering me. But it's got 500 attack, 2k defense, and like I said, it's a light target, so you can play some chaos stuff in your Blackluster Soldier, your Chaos Soldier deck. Duh. A Blackluster Soldier ritual monster. So any Blackluster Soldier ritual monster, ritual summoned using this card gains these effect. You can only use this effect of Beginning Night once per turn. Once per turn, target a monster your opponent controls, banish it. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle into the graveyard, activate this effect and make a second battle in a row. If this card is banished from your graveyard, add a ritual spell from your deck to your hand. You can use this effect of Beginning Night once per turn. So basically, what Beginning Night does is, if you use it as ritual materials to make regular vanilla Blackluster Soldier, he becomes Envoy of the End. Or Envoy of the Beginning. He gets the double attack and the banish effect. If you banish it to summon Envoy of the Beginning, you can add a ritual spell card. So, not like super flexible, not crazy Kickstarter, but absolutely a card you would still play to this day in this deck.
Oh, yeah.
Just because its interactions are good. And then our next one is... Did I remember to put this in the list? Yeah, that should technically be sooner, actually. It's my bad. Sorry. I missed my timing on an extra boy. I'll tuck him in later. Sorry, reformatting my list very slightly. Okay. Our next one is... Oh, is that not... Hold on. I didn't copy correctly. Don't know why. Hold on. So this is Evening Twilight Night. This is a chibi version of another alternate Blackluster Soldier we haven't run into yet, but we'll shortly, because he was released around this time, which is called Envoy of the Evening Twilight. But this is, his small lad form. It basically looks like that. That Blackluster Soldier has that kind of black and white effect. I think it works.
The tiny falcon on the chest.
Yep, still there. Also, apparently has face knees.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. The red and blue for the crazy eyes and the helmet now, and white hair.
Yeah. So this is a dark level 4 warrior with 500 attack, 2k defense. Again, no idea why that couldn't just give you some good stats, but they really want you to ritual summon the boy. A Blackluster Soldier ritual summoned by this card has the same effects. You can only use this effect once per turn. Its first effect is once per turn, target a monster opponent controls, banish it, but its second effect is different. Once per turn, you can banish a random card from your opponent's hand face down until your opponent's next end phase. So it's got a very strong hand rip effect. If this card is banished from your graveyard, add a ritual monster from your deck to your hand. You can use each effect of Twilight Night once per turn. So Twilight Night gives your Blackluster Ritual's other effects. Technically, it can give you a second targeted banish if you want. It only says that each effect of the Chibi Knights can be used once per turn, and then their other effects are soft once per turn. So I'm pretty sure if I understand my rulings correctly, you could use the Twilight Knight target banish and then the Beginning Knight target banish both on the same turn, which can be useful. And also it's got a hand rip effect, which is pretty good. And it adds a ritual monster when you cycle. So, yes, very, very good. Again, a card you would still play, but not enough to keep this deck together, probably. And then this is basically the... It's not really a chibi version, but this is kind of the small version of the next version of the Ritual Boy we will see shortly. This is Super Soldier Soul. Chosenshi no Tamashi. You can tell this is drawn with a modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Art style.
I like it, though.
Oh, no, I do like it, but the coloring and the lines are very different. It's still inspired, obviously, by Blackluster Soldier, but I feel like it's not quite as face-heavy. The wings it has are kind of like that one bug Pokemon that looks like a moth with a face wings. I don't remember which one that is. There's almost 1,000 Pokemon, chat. I can't be expected to remember the names of every single one. But it's a good look, and I like the callback to the... Even though this is a monster card, I like the callback to the art of the original Blackluster Ritual. You've got the two flames and then the armor. So, it's cool. Some extra sparklies and God Rays. So this is an Earth Warrior, level 1, 0/0. You can send a Blackluster Soldier monster from your hand to the graveyard until your opponent's next end phase. This card's attack becomes 3k, and this card's name becomes Blackluster Soldier. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add one Beginning Knight or even Twilight Knight from your deck to your hand. You can use each effect of Super Soldier Soul once per turn. So, I think the intent of Super Soldier Soul is to replace Karibo as the 1-star, because there were, released around this time, a couple of Gaia cards that were level 7 that supported being ritual summoned. So it gives you, the levels you want. It also does give you a normal summonable guy who can be big, but is not super useful. I don't actually... I'll double check with me, because they did get some spell trap support. I'll check if those require a Blackluster Soldier monster or a Blackluster Soldier ritual monster. If they require a ritual monster, that's not super helpful, but it's a guy, it's a body, it's a normal summonable body, and it lets you filter out bricks in your hand, which is okay.
Doesn't he have like a 2k defense? So it is.
No, the Super Soldier Soul is 0/0.
Oh, my bad.
He just gets 3k from his effect,
He gets the 3k attack only from his effect. Its banish effect, though, is good, and that's a not when this card is banished, but you can banish. So that is good as a searcher. It's a foolish target. You can discard it for stuff. So there's a few thinguses here that I appreciate they did. It's not the best card in the world, but they're trying. Arguably, this is probably the card you would actually cut these days, or would only run maybe a couple of copies of to search Beginning or even Twilight. Because like I said, there are Karibo cards that support being ritual summoned, so if you really need a level 1 modulation, you would just do that. But also, your deck is probably better just running 8s and 4s, and not bothering with the 7 plus the 1, because that's very awkward. Okay, so let's talk about that retrain of regular BLS, beginning BLS. This is Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Evening, Twilight. He really has that split theme. I don't know. This one's a little busy for me. I get what they're going for. He's got he can be your angle or your devil, baby. But... boy.
I've never seen him close up before. I don't appreciate that he looks like he's... Oh what's the best way to put this? He's made out of clay. His skin is so pale blue.
Yeah, his face is a little waxy.
I was thinking of like, I guess, it makes me think of like animated statues, but not like.
Yeah, like there's something about his face that's not natural. Not
This is like the weird ornate like statue with like the center of like an ancient castle that like dust comes off of it as it like starts moving again. It's like super fancy armor.
I mean, I would definitely say it if it's good.
The weirdest detail I do appreciate is the color coordinated braids he's got going on.
Yeah, he does one half of his braid is light, the other is darkness. As like with regular Blackluster Soldier, he has about a bajillion faces on him. There's the bird face here, the face on his helmet. There's probably a face on his sword. There's a face on his shield. There's a face on his crotch. There's a face on each knee. I think he's got a second little skull face on like one of his hips. It's a little busy, is what I'm saying. His helmet is fucking all over the place with its giant bat and angel wings on one side, and then it still has the crest in the middle. It's
and
a little
his shoulders.
overdesigned.
He's got the one spike leading up, and then the one angle wing.
Yeah, it's a little busy. Great background, though. Really good background. So
It looks like there's light coming off of his shield or something.
yeah,
The beam.
here's what this boy does. This guy's actually a Dark Warrior level 8 to kind of be the counterpart to Envoy of the Beginning's Light level 8. Same stats, 3k, 2500. Can't be normal or set. Must be special summoned. By the way, must first be special summoned. Must only be special summoned from your hand by banishing all light or all dark monsters from your graveyard, while you have an equal number of each in your graveyard. While this card is face up on the field, it is also light attribute. When this card is special summoned, activate the appropriate effect based on the attribute of the monsters you banished. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this effect. Light, target one monster on the field, banish it. Dark, banish one random card from your opponent's hand face down until the end phase. This guy sucks. I think because this was 2015, and this guy was like a weird side promo. Yeah, he was a Shonen Jump promo card. Actually, technically, he first came out in 2014. That's my bad. We should have talked about him earlier, but it really doesn't matter. But this guy sucks. It's like Dad, but you don't get your battle phase. And its effects are not reusable. It's all like hard once per turns. He can only be summoned from your hand.
So, for personal experience trying to use this card, it is only a roll one of because they're relatively searchable, and you don't really want to use more than one. I never actually ever got a chance to reliably use it, so I never actually knew
because
it was
you
a hard
needed
one
like
to turn, because it's hard to get out.
you need exactly the same number of lights and darks in your graveyard, and then you need to banish all of one. I think I'm gonna, if I have to suspect here, chat, people at home, my citizens, my peoples, I think that this was still probably about the time when they unbanned BLS or a little before when they made this promo card. They didn't want another Envoy of the Beginning, so they made this card overly clunky. As a result, he's not really that good. The fact that it banishes all of your lights or darks and all it does is give you one banish, you either hand rip one or you get the targeted banish effect you can get from the normal BLS for just banishing a light and a dark. And this guy locks you out of your battle phase. Oh, there's all kinds of not worth it. You can't even summon this guy back if he gets popped, because it's a must be special summoned from your hand, not must first be special summoned. So this is not a good card. If you were to play it, I would say as Axe said, play it as a one of, just because it's another level 8 and it's a dark, so it can increase your count of darks and 8s. But if at all possible, do not play this guy.
It's not great.
It could be better.
He's not terrible, but like there's just better options.
I think in 2023 he's terrible. I guess there are more tools to try and affix the same number of lights and darks in your graveyard, but to lock you out of the battle phase for just a hand rip one. I play Lab, y'all.
Okay, never mind then. I misheard that one effect. Never mind. You're right. It is not worth putting in your deck.
Yeah. No, it's you can't conduct your battle phase, and you get to rip one random card from your opponent's hand face down. Like that's a pretty good hand rip, but you can do better. Like I said, I play Lab. We get a casual hand rip as just part of our normal send up combo. Rip one. But speaking of cards that are better, it's
There are
time for
good
the
cards within the
retrain
chaos.
of the ritual version. Blackluster Soldier, Super Soldier. Again, this is something that they did kind of get around some awkward localization. In the OCG, this is just Chosenshi Chaos Soldier. So literally, Super Soldier, Chaos Soldier. So this is the artwork of Blackluster Soldier wearing the Super Soldier armor we saw in Super Soldier Soul. The coloring is a little odd, and I'm not 100% okay with the fact that he has twin tails. That's very odd to me.
I never noticed that, but you're right. Yeah.
But otherwise, the rest of this armor is very good. Much less faces randomly. It's a little spiky, but you know, he's the Super Chaos Soldier. It's fine. He is glowing red.
I honestly wish I could see the sword better and maybe see like the things on his hips better.
Yeah, his sword is like sawtoothed now, and I'm like, that'd probably be pretty cool, but I can't see it.
Honestly, in my mind, it's like you take Blackluster Soldier and then you fill him full of like red energy, and then like he, like mutates and like stuff all this just pops out of him essentially.
You got to
That
give
was
him the
part of
Super Soldier Serum.
Soldier Soul. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to give him the Super Soldier Serum. You do the Super Soldier ritual. But yeah, no, this is just a straight up retrain. This is an Earth Warrior Ritual monster with 8 stars, 3k attack, 2500 defense is normal. You can ritual summon this with Super Soldier Ritual, which we will talk about next. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its attack in the graveyard. If this card is destroyed by battle or sent to the graveyard, or if this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect and sent to your graveyard, special summon one Gaia the Fierce Knight monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So again, this is what I talked about. They were trying to... This is from that era in 2015-2016 where they're trying to loop Gaia and Blackluster Soldier in on each other, and they kind of gave up on that from the Gaia end. But just, you can summon any Gaia Fierce Knight monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard, including the ones that are ritual support. So yeah, compared to Blackluster Soldier Vanilla, this guy's good. He has his own effect to Flame Wingman them. If he's popped, he floats, so he doesn't have protection, but he floats. He's still level 8, so you can use, Evening Twilight and Beginning Nights as your materials very easily, which would mean you get the Banish effect or the double attack effect, which, by the way, that Destroyed by Battle effect and burn is not once per turn, so if he pops 2 monsters, that's a double burn there. Or you could do the Banish, or, hey, if you use Evening Twilight Knight, you can get the Hand Rip effect from the big Evening Twilight guy without needing to go through summoning Evening Twilight, Envoy of the Evening Twilight. So, Super Soldier, good. Thumbs up. An excellent work at retraining, and especially when combined with the support they already added. I think this guy still has good enough effect that if there was good support around him, this could still be the centerpiece of your deck. Oh, yeah, so, I'm sorry, somebody said it's not just Sawtooth. I mean, it's got a back saw, but it does have an actual curved blade, so it's got, that's the pattern on the inside of the sword, which is a little weird. But it also does have a saw back. Anyway, let's move on to, then, Super Soldier Ritual, the ritual spell to summon him. So, I'm not sure, if this is let me double check the trivia here.
What the fuck? What the fuck is that on the right?
Oh,
I've
okay.
seen it,
So
but-
in the manga, he did use Karibo, Griffor, and Gaia, even though you wouldn't need to do those. That's Griffor, who's he's a little baby freak. And funnily enough, by the way, when we get to this card's effect, that doesn't help. But yeah, so it's Gaia, Karibo, and Griffor being sacrificed on a dark magic circle for a ritual to summon a Blackluster Soldier. It's just it's a manga reference. Good throwback. So this is a ritual spell card. This card can be used to ritual summon any Blackluster Soldier ritual monster. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels exactly equal 8. So this is exact levels. Which, by the way, means you cannot use these 3 monsters to summon a Blackluster Soldier because Griffor is a level 3. Maybe they're using one of the level 4 Gaias. I don't know. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card, you can banish this card, sorry, comma, 1 light monster and 1 dark monster from your graveyard. Special summon a Blackluster Soldier ritual monster from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions. You can only use this effective Super Soldier ritual once per turn. So, this is not the greatest card for ritual summoning, because it requires exact levels, and unfortunately, the normal Blackluster ritual can't be used to summon Super Soldier, but this is still an improvement, and like I said, if you're just going with, like, 4s, like just lots of copies of Beginning and Twilight Knight, it's perfectly usable, and I do like its graveyard effect. Banish a light and a dark to summon a ritual monster from your hand, ignoring its conditions. Since Super Soldier still has an effect, that's not awful, you know? So it's serviceable. It's useful. But I don't think it's your best ritual move. Which, yes, by the way, there are actually still more ritual options coming. This is a card we technically, I think, mentioned in the Gaia episode, but I will once again bring it up because it is important to Blackluster decks as well. This is Beginning of Heaven and Earth. There's Beginning of Night doing a big bang or something. I don't know. He's charging Comet 2.
It's weird because it's like, this is weirdly comes back in Super Soldier Ritual. Or Super Soldier Synthesis, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
It's one of the cards that this refers to.
Yeah, it's
Tiny
a little
boy
odd.
accepts Cosmos into himself.
So this is a normal trap that says reveal 3 warrior-type monsters from your deck, including at least 1 Blackluster Soldier monster or 1 Gaia the Fierce Knight monster, and have your opponent randomly pick one. If they picked a Blackluster Soldier or Gaia the Fierce Knight monster, add it to your hand, send the rest to the graveyard. Otherwise, send all of them to the graveyard. This card has lots of weird extra generic support. The way you successfully use this is you just put 3 of the monster you want to add in there. I don't know why it says you can reveal other warrior monsters.
Hey, look at that. It's 3 Envoy of the Ends.
Yeah, no, you would literally... the best way to play this in a Blackluster Soldier deck, or a Gaia deck as well, but in a Blackluster deck is just be like, yeah, I 100% need Beginning Night, or I 100% need Twilight Night. I'm just going to reveal all 3 copies. If you've got, like, one of each but want to search for some reason, do that. You could reveal 3 copies of one of your ritual monsters, because those are all Blackluster Soldier monsters, and add them exactly. Which I think is good. It's good that you can get this level of precision, because it is a normal trap, right? But yeah, no, it's got a lot of extra text for being weird. But still a semi-usable card. I mean, it's a searcher, so, you know, you can only play 1 Rhoda. Oh, wow, I forgot this card was so minimalist. Let's talk about Gateway to Chaos real quick, because it does name-check Blackluster. Another card, by the way, that has actually been in meta decks. So, Gateway to Chaos is a field spell. There's literally nothing to say about the card art.
It's a
weird effect shot from the anime.
It's a digital pathway, I guess.
Yeah, it's a weird effect shot from the anime. It's a field spell. It says, when activated, add a Blackluster Soldier Ritual or a Gaia the Fierce Knight monster from your deck to your hand. By the way, that's why I say this card was actually meta. It was in set rotation decks because, much like Oracle of Zephyra, this is a mandatory search. You must add a Blackluster Soldier Ritual monster or Gaia the Fierce Knight card to activate it. Each time a monster card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, put a spell counter on this card. For each one of those cards, maximum 6. This will be important for later. Once per turn, you can remove 3 spell counters from this card. Add a ritual spell from your deck to your hand. You only add 1 Gateway to Chaos per turn. So, yeah, Gateway to Chaos is good in a couple of decks. It is especially, though, good for Blackluster Soldier decks. Because you get to add a ritual monster, which, by the way, is like the 15th way you can search one of the ritual monsters. Because at this point, you can already play Prep the Rites. Because they are level 8, which means they count. I think it's level 7 or higher. Or is it level 7 or lower? In that case, you can only play pre-prep. Either way, there's so many ways to search your ritual monsters. And it just gains spell counters, which can be good for some cards as well in the side effects. And also, you can spend 3 spell counters to just search one of your ritual cards. And it's just each time a monster card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard. Your opponent tries to hit you with a hand trap. Search. Add a spell counter. So it's all in all pretty good. And then we're going to talk about a couple of these cards real quick from this wave of support, some more spell traps. Then I'm going to take a break and fill my water up because I'm thirsty. Make sure this loads fully. This is...
you missed a lot the stuff beforehand, Zed. Doesn't explain much.
So, I mean, we're through most of the actual attempt to make Blackluster Soldier a deck. You can go back to Beginning Night and Twilight Night and stuff like that. We're going to take a brief break in a second because I have to walk out and get more water. So, you can scroll back and see the highlights of what you missed. Our next card, though, is one of those support cards I talked about. This is Super Soldier Rebirth. Tensei no Choshinshi.
Oh, Jesus. Wait, the twin tails are part of his helmet.
Yes, he apparently has a close cropped cut. I feel slightly better knowing that.
It's a
but yeah.
Sailor Moon magical girl transformation.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it's cool. He's fucking crackling with power. You can see more of the sword, which is nice.
Cool sword.
Yeah, it's a good sword. I like this sword.
Like
He's
a
got
cool
all his
Dark Knight
bits
weapon.
slapping on. I mean, I like the transformation sequence. It's pretty cool. This is apparently inspired by, but is not the same as the panel in the manga where Blackluster Soldier gets summoned. So still, neato card. Neat art. Like it. Normal spell card, or normal trap card, sorry. Target a Blackluster Soldier monster you control. Send it to the graveyard. If you do, special summon a Blackluster Soldier monster from your hand with a different name for that monster, ignoring its summoning conditions. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target a Blackluster Soldier monster graveyard, add it back to your hand. You can only use activate 1 Super Soldier Rebirth per turn. So that graveyard effect is better than its on-flip effect. But honestly, tagging out your Blackluster Soldiers is still useful. It's a trap, which is a little weird. But this is probably why you would bother to play 1 Envoy of Evening Twilight, because you can just ignore its weird summoning conditions and summon it out. I don't remember if its hand rip effect is, like, you have to choose to activate that effect. I think you do. So it's not super great because it's a normal trap. You got to do it on your opponent's turn. But conceptually, it's a good card. It's useful. You might, like, slimline your number of copies, but the fact that it lets you add back a Blackluster Soldier in your graveyard, you would... If all this card does is just, you set this card and your opponent decides to waste a Lightning Storm on it, that's technically pluses. Yes, Zed also brought up another effect. Because you can do it in the battle phase, you can use it for to swing for game, because you can bring out another guy who hasn't attacked yet. It's still awkward because it is a trap, so, this card minimum can be played on turn 3. Even, I think, in 2015 when this came out, that's an awkward place for Blackluster Soldier to be, but it's still useful. It still has a lot of uses and absolutely is a card you would play, especially because you can search Blackluster adjacent spell traps. And then our next card, because again, everybody needs an Omni. It's funny. I can just tack it over the other. I didn't mean to copy in first. But there. Super Soldier Shield. Did you block him with a shield? But this is pretty good. This is an Omni Negate. I mean, it's not a proper Omni, but it's when a spell trap card or monster effect is activated that targets a monsters on the field, so any number of targeting, so long as there is targeting, while you control a Blackluster Soldier monster, negate and destroy. If this card's in your graveyard, you can remove a spell counter to set this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. This is a good card. Like, obviously, it doesn't stop you from that thing I joked about eating a Lightning Storm, but this blocks many forms of spot removal, and it has a nifty way to reset itself with Gateway to Chaos. So, this is a good card. You would play this card.
It's a good card. You just wish you could actually reliably use it more often.
Yeah, the main thing is because it's only stops targeted effects, the target cards on the field. But as a form of protection for your Blackluster monsters is good. And like I said, I appreciate this says just Blackluster Soldier monsters. So it protects your normal boys and your ritual boys and some other shit. So this is a card you would still play to this day. They are searchable again. It's not ideal, but, it stops some form of interaction. Your opponent can't use a Barone Pop to pop it, kind of a thing. It wins in the mirror match, But I'm going to flick up the... I will mute and deafen so that these guys don't have to worry about if they're saying stuff online. And I will flip you to the please stand by for a sec, because like I said, I got to go get more water. Be right back, everybody. Okay. I'm back. Sorry about that, everybody. I did have to mow the lawn. And while it's getting darker earlier, that does mean it was warm outside and grassy. We're back.
Welcome back.
So that was, from beginning night to now, that was basically all the block of Blackluster support in Dimension of Chaos. It was kind of a flagship, thing. Even though that wasn't the cover card, it was still a major factor they pushed. And that's the bulk of the cards we're going to talk about. But they do have a few oddball cards that came out to flesh out some of this stuff. The first was released in the year 2016 in the very next set, so they kept some of the themes going. This is Blackluster Soldier, Sacred Soldier. Or, once again, in Japanese, this would be Sei Senshi Chaos Soldier, literally Sacred Soldier, Chaos Soldier. So, I think making it three words is a little better. So this is basically if Envoy of Evening Twilight was all light mode. I like it. First of all, and if you've ever listened to me like run tabletop or do other narrative stuff, you know I love that kind of like white sky, black stars effect. That's cool. Also, just in general, this guy's nice. He still has all of his dumb faces everywhere, but, it's gleaming white. I think his there are parts of him that I can't tell whether they're armor or bodysuit because they're all white, but they're like muscle-y. But you know, it's decent. It's a little,
Yeah,
it's a lot
this guy
less
just
busy than
left.
the other guy.
This guy didn't turn on dark mode. He's just light mode the entire time.
Yep.
It's
So
almost blinding.
this card is a light warrior, level 8, 3k as always, 2500 defense as almost always. When this card is normal or special summoned, target one of your banished light or dark monsters and one card your opponent controls. Return that banished card to the graveyard, and if you do, banish that card your opponent controls. You can only use this effect of Sacred Soldier once per turn. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, target a level 7 or lower warrior monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So, Sacred Soldier, good. Thumbs up. He can be normal summoned in an emergency. He has an effect that triggers on normal or special summon, which lets you recycle banished light or dark monsters, such as if you've been summoning, you know, envoys. Its destruction effect to recycle a warrior is not great, because obviously that's mainly, I think, meant to get back Gaia-related cards or the Squires, the Chibi Knights.
Mm-hmm.
But this card does let you recycle a Chibi Knight if it has been banished into your graveyard, then add it back if you destroy by battle. Even so, this is still a card that is much easier to summon than Envoy of Twilight, and still has good effect because he lets you recycle out your lights. The main thing is just ways to summon this guy. I think it's best with the Rebirth Trap card, but there's a few ways to
Also,
summon
Zed-
Blackluster Soldier monsters.
That is correct. Anything involving level 7 monsters is just Gaia support.
I mean, it works for the crossover, but like I said, it does say or lower warrior monsters, which does mean you can grab back something like a Super Soldier Soul, or the 2 Chibi Knights as well, to actually like reload them into your hand for ritual stuff if you need it. It's not ideal. I mean, it's a card that adds back a monster from your graveyard after you run over an opponent's monster, so like we all know that's not the bestest. But still, this is a decent card to add, even if only as a one-off, just to give you more light targets and you know, more boys, more stuff. All right. And now we finally got another small main deck boy to use for ritual fuel. This card is Envoy of Chaos. This was released in 2017 in Raging Tempest, which I believe that was a Link era set? No, Late Pendulum. So we're still in the Pend era. Envoy of Chaos. Looking a little bit like a chibi Super Soldier.
Yeah, it's what is it? One of the Chibi Knights, but he's going Super Soldier.
Yeah.
And looking more angry.
Yeah, he has a very anime angry boy face. I do like the glowing eyes. I don't know why he switched to blue hair.
No, one of the Chibi Knights had blue hair, didn't they? Like the first Chibi Knight we saw.
I think he should have red hair. Maybe they all have blue hair, but yeah. So
Idiot Pro.
it's another little boy. Envoy of Chaos. He's doing stuff. He's a guy. So, this is a Dark Warrior, level 4. It has 1500 attack, 0 defense. Still, again, no really good normal summon monsters that don't require tributes other than a Super Soldier Soul if you want to actually go to the battle phase. But during the battle phase quick effect, discard this card. Target a Blackluster Soldier monster or a Gaia the Fierce Knight monster you control against 1500 attack until the end of this turn. And if it does, every opponent's monster that battles it has its attack become that monster's original attack during damage calc only. Once returned during the end phase, if this card's in your graveyard, you can banish one light and one dark monster from your graveyard, except this card, add it to your hand. So yeah, this is Kalut.
Omega, you are correct. The one I was thinking about, Beginning Knight, had red hair. I'm thinking about the guy who appears in the trap card Beginning of Heaven and Earth. This is that guy.
Ah, okay. It's a little late for him to appear as a monster format, but yeah. So yeah, Envoy of Chaos it gives you another level 4, another dark, so that's good. And it's a Kalut type effect, or an honest. During the battle phase, at any time during the battle phase, that means you do got to watch out for your, damage calc effect. It's a quick effect to discard and increase by 1,500. Most of your guys are 3k, so that makes you 45. And it resets your opponent's monster's attack during damage calc, which means that if they summon a monster and think, oh, I'll make myself, super large, Envoy of Chaos will neutralize them out. I don't know how that works on, shit like Avramax that gains attack, during damage calc, but other attack modulation effects, like, say, Equimax, who just gains attack equal to, monsters linked with it, you would win out because it would go back to its default attack and get blasted. So, I think it's good. The effect of recycling it is a little expensive, but because it's optional, you can always choose just not to activate it if you want those guys in graveyard for other support. But yeah, this is a battle trick hand trap that is self-recycling. This is pretty decent. You should probably play this if you're making a Blackluster deck right now. Sorry, responding to things on Discord. Also, I don't know if Axe is muted.
Yeah, he hasn't said anything.
I didn't know what to say at the time.
No, it's okay.
That's okay.
I just wanted to double check. You hadn't said anything since I came back. We've only talked about, 2 cards, so if you don't have anything to add, that's okay.
I thought I said something here or there, but fair.
Check and double check me. But I don't recall. Though, hey, here's that card you mentioned earlier, Axe, as well. The Super Soldier Synthesis.
Yeah, that was the one. I remember. I thought it looked like the bigger one, but yeah.
No, it's still Chibi Boy. It's Envoy of Chaos, who is also absorbing phenomenal cosmic power.
Yep.
So, hey, remember how I said that there is an exact level drawback on that card? This is not necessarily getting around this, but does, I think, attempt to make it better. And this is, I think... Actually, no. Would this be pre-Vendred? What year is this? No, this is a Raging Tempest. So... Ventreds have a Link monster, but when did they actually get printed? Let me double check. World premieres in Code of the Duelist, the first Link set. Yeah, so this card predates Vendreds, which we're doing a lot of weird shit with rituals, in your graveyard. This is a ritual spell that says it can be used to ritual summon any Blackluster ritual monster from your hand or graveyard. You must also send 1 light and 1 dark monster, 1 from your hand, 1 from your deck, to the graveyard whose levels equal exactly 8. You can only activate 1 Super Soldier Synthesis per turn. So this has the same exact level issue that Super Soldier Ritual does, but because it lets you send from deck at least one of the monsters, one of them having to be light and the other dark, it gets a lot easier to work around because so long as you have one of the 4s in hand, you can just pitch the other 4 from deck and always hit it, right? It's like how ARA requires exact levels, but because it pitches a normal monster from deck, you don't fucking care.
Yeah, it's just like, fuck you.
So, this is another good card, and I think you'd probably play both this and maybe Super Soldier Ritual, because Ritual has, a graveyard effect.
Yeah, you'd play both. You'd
Yeah.
play both of 3, actually. It's
Well,
your
yeah.
main thing.
And they are searchable, but these are both good alternatives depending on where you've got your monsters at what levels.
Also, depending, you'd also play, a slight Gaia package, because there's overlap.
Yeah, you could play the Gaia package. That lets you actually use Super Soldier Soul as ritual mats. Or, like I said, you could play Relink Karibo or Sphere Karibo, because those have ritual interactions. All right, but speaking of the Link era, it's time to look at the other Blackluster Soldier who is technically generic and thus has actually been in decks. This is Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos.
I think that's what,
Go
all the arts... I think this is what all the arts end up resolving into, I guess, if I put it.
Yeah, this is definitely like again, this is a newer Yu-Gi-Oh style, but definitely still harkens back to the classic. He's got the sword, he's got the shield. He's still got some of the faces, but they're a little more downplayed. His hair is blue now, which I think is meant to signify that this is related to Envoy of Chaos. But he's still got the weird side tassel on his helmet. But he's looking good. So, this is a Link monster. Its name in Japanese, by the way, is Konton no Senshi Chaos Soldier. So, Chaos Soldier, the warrior of chaos. Again, like I said, we don't quite hit Curse of Dragon, the Cursed Dragon levels in the OCG, but close. Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos is still not perfect because you have soldier backed by soldier. Generally, in writing, you don't want to do that. But it happened. So this is a Link 3 warrior, an Earth warrior, by the way. We're leaving the Chaos Zone again to go return to our roots. It's got triangular arrows, forward arrow, and the 2 corner arrows. It's a 3K attacker for just a Link 3. 3 monsters with different names. If this card was Link summoned using a level 7 or higher monster's material, your opponent cannot target it with card effects. It can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can activate one of the following effects. This card gains 1500 attack. This card can make a second attack during the battle phase of your next turn. Banish a card on the field. So, this guy's good. Like, this is a good Link 3. Obviously, you tend to play it in decks more where you have access to level 7 or higher monsters. Oh, careful, Loth.
Sorry, I turned to cough and my earphones hit the mic.
Yep. It's okay. But yeah, this is just a good Link 3. He has you honestly, you don't need your fucking extra deck in Blackluster anyway.
Yeah.
So you probably should play this in your BLS deck in case you happen to be able to make a Link 3, because it actually has protection, which is something your monsters don't usually get.
What are you even running in your extra deck? Maybe one, was it Dragon Master Knight just to super poly if you're fighting a Blue Eyes player?
There's probably some weirdness you could do with the Dragon Master Knight for a flex. You would honestly probably try and play some kind of Isolde package, because that's just any 2 warriors, gets you a search, and you could maybe play a single equip card Garnet to summon Super Soldier Soul that way. There's probably a few more. Like, you could try some of the generic, like, Earth, Light, or Dark Charmers, the other Link to Earth's Lights or Darks, you know, for attack modulation and recycling. I think there's a few Chaos adjacent extra deck monsters. I know there's the Synchros, obviously. That doesn't really work because most of them still require tuners. Chaos Angel doesn't, but he's a level 10. So, yeah, but there's something you could put in your extra deck. I could probably go look it up on like YGO Pro Deck, but this definitely works in a Blackluster Soldier deck, is what I'm saying. Because you can make it untargetable and make it fucking 45. Also, if the duel's not fucking over, that's permanent, so you can keep going up. You can make 2 attacks. You can banish a card. This is a very spicy tool. Good Link 3. I mean, I guess
really
technically,
make it in the BLS deck.
Yeah. I mean, I guess technically you can put it in your, you could put this in your BLS deck and then also play an access code talker. So you can make a very big access code. Not ideal. But still, like, again, you literally don't need your extra deck in BLS, so you should play this in BLS anyway, because you might actually have a fucking level 7-ish. And then, again, Kai... actually, no. I think I've been pretty consistent that we should talk about tunes when we do a tune episode. I did write it down, though, to mention it. There is a tune BLS, who I believe is inspired by Envoy, but we can talk about that when we inevitably do a tune episode, because that'll be very funny. That means that barring our mention of, we should talk about Master of Chaos, but we don't need to show him again because I'm pretty sure he was in the big DM episode. But that does leave, of course, the reason why this was very timely, because Master Duel decided to add this guy. This is Blackluster Soldier, the Legendary Swordsman. Or technically just Blackluster Soldier, Legendary Swordsman. But this card was released because when this guy showed up in the manga and the anime, Yugi referred to him, technically Yama Yugi, but you know what I mean, referred to him as a legendary swordsman.
Mm-hmm.
Your tunes are very inconsistent, but they are like... Tunes are like the most annoying to play against rogue deck of like all time. They have so many tools to just emulate the playstyle that Pegasus had with them, which is to be a fucking gremlin. So like they're a gremlin deck. They're rough.
Yeah. He literally just goes, your monster? My monster.
You can, like, honestly, if you want to like scrape wins on ladder, you could try that with tunes. Like, you might get some guys.
Yeah, you'll surprise people by playing, Bookmark, and then actually playing a proper, fucking...
Yeah,
tune
Bookmarks,
deck
Table of Contents,
instead of
Briefcase is a
doing
really
dumb-
annoying card to deal with normal summons. Comic Hand is a snatch steal. And,
well, no, I mean actually playing a tune deck instead
well, yeah,
of
that's what I mean.
writing,
Like, but Bookmark's very funny.
Bookmark
But Toon Kingdom is just
in
a really
Smash
annoying card to deal
Strikers.
with.
There used to be a bunch of tune players when Master Duel came out. Like I used to see.
Yeah,
because
because of the nostalgia, I think they just didn't get all their support and just kind of fell off, like a lot of cards. But yeah, so Legendary Swordsman is another Earth Ritual level 8. Got the same stats, of course. 3K 2500. You can Ritual Summon this card with Chaos Form or Super Soldier Ritual.
Yes, Chaos Form.
Yes, Chaos Form. Technically, Chaos Form came out earlier as well. That was in the Dark Side of Dimensions movie. That does name check Blackluster Soldier. But is also very much for Blue Eyes Chaos Max or, you know, Magician of Black Chaos Max kind of things. The text of Chaos Form can be used to ritual summon any Chaos or Blackluster Soldier ritual monster. You must tribute monsters from your hand or field, or banish Blue Eyes White Dragon or Dark Magician from your graveyard. So, the normal monsters, whose total levels exactly equal the level of the Chaos or Blackluster Soldier ritual monster. Which is very awkward to actually use in Blackluster, until they specifically called out that you can summon this card with Super Soldier Ritual or Chaos Form, which means you can search those with cards that involve, you know, add a ritual monster and then the card that it says must be ritual summoned. So you can't cheat this out, except for when you could cheat this out anyway. During your draw phase, before you draw, you can reveal this card in your hand. Give up your normal draw for this turn. If you do, add a ritual spell from your deck to your hand. Your opponent can't activate cards or effects during the battle phase. When this attacking card that was ritual summoned using a normal monster turns a monster by battle, shuffle all cards your opponent controls into the deck. So this is, I said obviously, Super Soldier, you know, the Super Soldier retrain, is pretty good for a retrain of a vanilla ritual monster, arguably still playable as a centerpiece in your deck. This guy is too, but he requires extra hoops. So you would still play this guy, but, big but, you have to make some conceits here. So, this card's very searchable. It lets you search a lot of your ritual spells. The fact that he's got arguably, you probably want to try and set up this deck to blind second because you need the battle phase. So the fact that it has an effect where just turn 2, you can be like, hey, draw phase, reveal Legendary Swordsman, add a ritual spell. That's pretty good. That's really good for ritual monsters, actually, honestly. An in-hand effect that is just like, get your ritual spell. Your opponent is completely vercucked out of effects during the battle phase. Or at least during your battle phase. But can't activate cards or effects during the battle phase. That is a powerful, like, extra Ancient Gear or Armades effect. Just no. But to get its full effect, you have to use a normal monster, which, ironically enough, I think means that because you have because it synergizes with Chaos Form, you want to try and play a Blue Eyes package. Like, obviously, you can use Gaia the Fierce Knight, but that means you have to deal with a Gaia brick. I mean, a Blue Eyes is a brick too if it's in your hand, but at least you can like try and Foolish Burial or Dragon Shrine it or something away. But yeah, also that means you probably want to play Piercing the Darkness because that's a card that works with ritual monsters that are made with normal monsters as material. But yeah, this guy's pretty all right. They're trying their best. It's still, I think, not ideal because the normal way this deck worked before was, pitch beginning and evening night, right? And that gives you card effects to your ritual boys. That still works, but Shuffle is very spicy. We haven't really talked about it, but great card art. I like this action pose. This is definitely a manga panel.
Yeah, feels like it.
But yeah, Legendary Soldier, and...
saw something up for you, Omega.
Oh, yeah?
When it loads.
Oh.
Here we go.
I think I may have seen this before, but this is still very funny. It's by the way, chat, if we want to know what it is, it's some guy wearing an Infinity Gauntlet, but a Infinity Gauntlet themed dual disc has been photoshopped on top of it, and it's showing all 5 pieces of Exodia.
That's for Oscar players.
Yeah, but I didn't want to have the Guilty Gear Strive thing attached to it, so I just put the picture. Anyway. Yeah, wasn't this part of the
Yep.
anniversary support?
Yeah,
thing
this
they
was in
released?
the History Archive collection, which was a special set where they released a lot of oddball support cards. Red Eye's Soul, Dual Tower, Soul Energy Max, Dual Academy, Wake Up Your Elemental Hero, very, very common funny boy.
Performer Power, Great Performer, or whatever
Yes.
his name actually is.
What is his actual name? Performer Pal, Duelist Extraordinaire is what it ended up being translated as. But also,
Okay,
this
yeah.
is Soul of the Supreme King. Got printed in this.
Yes.
Link into the
One of my
Vrain,
favorite
Angel of Blue
cards.
Tears. The very weird Firewall Dragon Extra Boy. Dark Fluid Neo Tempest Terahertz. But that's it's a this set was mostly turned into the back half of Maze of Memories, which is where we got also all the Gate Guardian support. I think Wake Up Your Elemental Hero does mention a favorite spell card, so that works for favorite hero, which also turned into some of the new U-Bell support. Also,
Looking
a lot of
forward
these
to the
cards
new
were either
U-Bell
already
cards.
added or have newly been added by the new Selection Pack and Master Duel, which is awful. Red Eye Soul is an Ultra. What the fuck?
Why is it an Ultra?
They also did add Red Eye's Black Meteor Dragon finally, which was a super rare, so I've crafted 3 copies, but that was a super rare. Again, the fuck? Konami, do you think Red Eye's Soul is gonna let me win Red Eye's games I wouldn't win before? No.
No, I'm looking
Meteor
forward
Dragon's
to when
cool.
they add like the new Z-Arc stuff, and it's all fucked rarities. It's all. It's gonna
Oh,
be
God
super
knows,
bad.
because we might be approaching that moment. Though it was a world premiere set, so I don't know how that's going to handle in Master Duel. But I'm sure the new Gate Guardian stuff will be all super weird rarities, which will be a pain in the ass because that deck's not that good. Though it does work as a package. I think there's like branded Gate Guardian builds out there. If you wanna, if you want to supplement your weird anime archetype, just rub some branded on it. Can you run branded BLS? I don't know. Reply below, chat. Yeah, we'll show the art of Master of Chaos. I wasn't sure if we would, but we should. We should do him up. We've already talked about this card, but we'll mention it again. This is Master of Chaos. It's Dark Magician cosplaying as Blackluster Soldier. It is a fusion monster that requires Dark Magician and then a Chaos or Blackluster Soldier ritual monster. So again, kind of like you could run a Dark Magician in your BLS deck, I guess. You know, just to give you the spice and give you the normal for Legendary Swordsman. But if this card is fusion summoned to target a lighter dark monster in your graveyard, summon it. You can tribute a lighter dark monster, banish all monster your opponent controls. If the fusion summon card is destroyed by battle or card effect, target a spell card in your graveyard, add it back to your hand. None of that necessarily intrinsically synergizes with Blackluster Soldier.
No, this guy is always in a Dark Magician deck.
Yeah, that's because Magician of the Ritual Monster Magician of Chaos is really good.
I don't know if I missed you guys saying this or not, but I get weird like earlier for like level 60 to level 90 Paladin vibes.
What, from this guy?
Yeah, it's like
I mean, a little.
I mean, I haven't even
shield.
got a Paladin at all, so.
I'm more just thinking about like just comparative, like I guess how ornate the armor and like pronounced the shield is.
I mean, his cape looks like it's a fucking giant carpet that's horizontally on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
It's
wonky
a weird style, but I appreciate it.
I don't because of the way FF14 works. I don't actually usually run dungeons and get a full set of dungeon gear of, you know, my current appropriate level. So although my Paladin is 66, I'm still wearing Tombstone gear.
I mean, that's what goes to like level 63 gear anyway, so it's probably okay.
Honestly,
Yeah, how?
I think
I guess I just buy generic gear at the store.
That's
Golbez
what it's
vibes. That makes sense. Good old
But
Golbez.
I wouldn't know anything about shields,
Yeah,
but that's
Golbez.
because, you know, I have a glam where my shield becomes the House Front Shield. Dear.
Because why wouldn't you?
And my sword, I mean, I will say, having acquired Zantatsu Ken, this sword is a little bit in that range, though it is a little too small for that. But yeah, we're Odining it up.
I do
Appreciate the one thing this Dark Magician who's cosplaying a Blackluster Soldier has kept is the falcon on the chest and the crutch skull.
Yeah,
But there's Konami orbs everywhere.
he has a lot of extra orbs, yeah. They're blue.
Blue and red orbs.
Like it's almost like you can make a constellation out of connecting them all.
But yeah, again, this is another weird case where, like, we try and make Yugi's other monsters relevant to a Dark Magician deck, but because they let you also run cards that are useful to Dark Magician, you only ever see it in Dark Magician decks without any of the Blackluster stuff. And again, its effects don't actually really help you do Blackluster stuff that much. So we continue to live in a weird era. You know, if we're gonna use the fact that Chaos Form can banish Blue Eyes anyway, you should Konami, you should just make Retrain of Dragon Master Knight and like go through. But you know, that's where we are. So
Sorry, I was gonna reply to Zed.
Because he's asking why Odin has Sentetsuken.
Because I was gonna say, fuck if I know.
It's because, honestly, it's representing the technique, and it's because I think in one of his original showings, he was meant to be basically the weakened version of Raiden.
that's why I was not going to mention that because, well, I mean, I don't know if Zed's ever watched any of those streams, but
Well, that's from 6. So
yes, I knew this because You have indeed said this several times, but like I said, I don't know if that mostly comes up in our FF streams. So if you want to know more about FF, you should watch those. That said, technically, let me double check if that's true. I think he's had the Zentetsuken. Yeah, no, he had Zentetsuken from 3. Is this the actual 3? I mean, it said the Famicom version, so yes, I think so. Yeah. So he's always had the Zentetsuken ability. But they definitely made it make more sense when they did the thing in 6 where he evolves into Raiden. But he's a weird boy. Anyway. That's actually the end of our Blackluster stuff. You know, we've moved through. There's less than I thought, especially when we exclude the extra 2.
On a call, or you want to talk about a little bit about I guess recently announced cards?
No, I don't really want to talk. I'm dry-throated and sucking on water. I need to take a shower.
All right. Then.
I mean, I can double check if anything really spicy has been announced, but I don't think it has. There's just some new Fire King stuff. You know, obviously Rush Duel's getting a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, the Phoenix. Or as I want to call him, the Phoenix.
There's a lot of stuff.
believe
Like,
only
Duel Links is going through some updates.
I believe only Omega will get that reference.
The Phoenix. Oh, yeah, actually, before this ends, I should log in. There's a new Master Duel Tryout event where your 3 decks are Obelisk, Blackluster Soldier, Legendary Swordsman, and Red Eyes. Guess what I'm going to play? And
I hope that deck's better than...
actually might be more functional than Blue Eyes Obelisk Turbo and Blackluster Soldier Turbo. It might be better. We're not sure.
The else is bricky. Red Eyes at least has ways to not be bricky. It has normal Sonic.
I mean, I'm looking at this Red Eyes list. They're only on 2 copies of Vanilla Red Eyes, but... Here, chat.
I don't want to play through.
Take a look at this. Like, honestly, this is... For Red Eyes, this is a good list. Got some Soul, got some Meteor Black Dragon, playing a single Guiltia for...
The single summon skull.
Yeah, because you've only got one Archfiend. The Necrofusion.
Oh my god.
Like, honestly, actually, I should try some of these ratios.
Is that Chaos Angel?
Yeah. Because remember, the way Chaos Angel works is you can use a light or a dark monster as a tuner.
All right. Yeah.
So hypothetically, you can make him. It's not good because most of your monsters are level 7, but it works. I guess the idea is summon Skull plus one of your 4s, maybe?
As per usual in any level 7 deck, I love just seeing Big Eye.
Yep, Big Eye's in there.
List.
It's kind of... I mean, I guess they're going easy. They didn't tuck Diablosis in here, but yeah, they've got a Pisty. They really should have put Diablosis in here. They put the fucking Darkness Metal, the Darkness Dragon, Link 5 in here. That guy sucks.
They've got Verte. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I probably should run the Verte, but nah. This is good. It's fine. They got 1 copy of Piercing the Darkness. Again, this isn't optimal. Like, why are they running 1 copy of Bottomless? But this is actually an okay list.
When are they going to add Dragoon?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they'll... I think he's still banned in the OCG. They should just fucking ditch him. Like, I don't think he'd do anything in Master Duel. It'd be broken. But that's just a funny thing I can do at a different time. Oh, yeah, no. We literally haven't had any real new card announcements in a while. Axe, were you thinking of any card specifically when you brought that up, or...
I was thinking about, the new Fire King announcements or, Double Agent. But I guess if we say Double Agent, we would just do Spiral.
Yeah, we would... honestly, at that point, we would just, talk about it when we do Spiral.
Okay. Chat, you've given me the 3-peat. I wonder if I can go for 4. I doubt it. But we'll see if anyone can offer an archetype for me to put up.
Yeah, I'll, maybe not right away tonight, because I don't know if I'll reach everybody, but, we'll be posting the new Fail Portrayal poll soon. You can vote in that poll by being one of our $5 and up patrons. You can sign up right now and vote in the poll. I'll probably keep saying Trickstar is my personal pick, because, it's an anime archetype, but also I know a lot about Trickstar gaming. Do you want to give the people at home a tease, Loft? Do you have an idea of what your attempt to go for 4 would be?
Did we already do trap tricks?
Did we already do trap tricks? I'll have to check in with Marth. He usually remembers everything we've done.
Yeah,
I think we have.
I don't think we've done trap tricks because there's actually been quite a lot of trap trick support, so...
Yeah, you ask Ma the question about what's happened, he'll be like, okay, give me an hour and to come back. So here's what I found.
Yeah. So he'll probably either, if he's not watching right now and looking it up, he'll probably watch this archive later and let us know then, either on a comment or in the Fail Portrayal channel. So I'll leave that up to him. I don't think we've done trap tricks, though, so we'll check him out.
I think he's been having a lot of fun talking about X and all that in the games channel.
Yeah, I've been
Mega
talking about
Man
some
X.
Mega Man stuff. Hopefully we'll get back to that soon. By the
Good
way,
seeing you talk
hey,
to other people here.
people at home. Well, we took Labor Day off. I don't apologize. Also, I shouldn't apologize. It was Lucky's idea, but I was like, yeah, sure, we can take a day off. I don't fucking care. We took a holiday. We'll be back to Hollow Knight next week. And we'll be back to Final Fantasy XIV tomorrow. I'm going to do more post-Stormblood stuff, maybe do some level 70 dungeons or whatever. If those guys, those are cool.
Evilise raids. Evilise raids.
No, we're gonna... I think because, as we discussed while we were playing Final Fantasy XIV on our holiday, those will probably be at least one entire stream, if not 2 entire streams, because of how many cutscenes there are. So
It's
probably
a lot.
gonna try and leave those and the Omega raids for like when I'm getting close to Shadowbringers, as like a big wrap up. So yeah, but we'll keep doing the contento.
Fuck.
So, with that all in mind, that's it from me today for this, the Fail Portrayal. My Crimson Soul is unbreakable, much like a diamond. And that's all I've got for y'all's. So I'll talk to you next week, where we will be rounding out Visas Sturfrist. We'll be talking about Vanadium and then any extra, whatchamacallits, Visas cards. We'll talk about like Samsara and the Pendulum and the other stuff. After that, we will be starting our process of going through, going through deck build packs, because Marth did fact check this for us. We haven't actually done For Hire. I think I may have said this last week, but to remind you, we didn't do For Hire. So we can talk about For Hire, which will be very funny. Anyway, that's it for me. I gotta go. I gotta take a shower. I think I got all the spider webs off me, but I don't know. So I'm gonna shower. That's it for me. Good night, everybody.
Bye.